Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we're discussing the first full week of college football. And we still got some games left tonight. Like we have Oregon State versus San Jose State. You have LSU versus Florida State, and then on Monday you have Duke versus Clemson. But most of the games by now have been completed, and I want to cover a couple things that I saw throughout this week of games that I just want to talk about and hear y'all's opinions, and here you could hear mine because of, well, it's my video. I get to talk about it. But feel free in the comments, put whatever you want. But let's start off with going through some of the games. The most notable one of them all was Colorado versus TCU. Colorado did end up winning the game, which is a surprise to a lot of people, in my opinion. I thought it was a huge surprise. They won 45-42. Shedeur Sanders played phenomenal. I think he had over 500 yards throwing. He is the He was the most impressive player yesterday by far. Dylan Edwards did great. He had about 4 touchdowns. Travis Hunter played great. But I did not expect this to happen. If you check my video talking about this week, I think the score prediction that I have heading into this was not anywhere close, in my opinion. I think it might have been within like 15, 20 points. And TCU win. But I definitely not expect them to actually score these many points, for Colorado at least. And Shedeur Sanders, he was great at one thing, and more than anything else in my opinion, and that was just accuracy. It doesn't matter if he was rolling out and he had to stop the throw, if he was rolling out and running, if he was in the pocket, if it was deep, if it was short, if it was middle, anywhere he could on the field, he could make a throw. And that is so rare when it comes to these quarterbacks, that anywhere on the field they can make the throw. And it doesn't make it look easy. He does not make it look easy at times, but it works. It really does work. And that's how he scored 45 points. Also, Travis Hunter, I think, played a super lot of snaps, maybe over 100 snaps, I think. I'll put up the number if I can find it. How many snaps he played. That was absurd. And TCU, let's not get this wrong. Their offense not play a bad game at all. They scored 42 points for a reason. They did very good offensively. Chandler Morris actually didn't half bad. Trey Sanders showed well in the run game at times. But this team overall, defensively, cannot get key stops. Colorado at the end of the game, I've talked about this before, it does not fully matter if you get a whole lot of stops, you can still sometimes lose. Main example, Nebraska versus Minnesota that just happened on Thursday. Nebraska was great getting stops throughout the whole game, but then when they needed one the most, they didn't get it. This one, Colorado could not stop them pretty much throughout the whole game. But then they finally got an opportunity to just win the game if you get a stop, and they did it. So shout out to Colorado for that. And this is a surprise. Colorado should be in the top 25 after this win. TCU is not a bad team at all. They just made a national title game last year. And this team, Colorado, they're proving a lot of doubters wrong. I was one of the doubters about this, not to the extreme level that some people are going to. But hey, shout out to Deion Sanders and these boys. We just got this team playing really well, and they're going against Nebraska next week. So that would be 2-0 to start off this year. Whoa. Other thing I want to talk about is the South Carolina-North Carolina game. This was disappointing if you're a South Carolina fan, expecting them to win this one. North Carolina just outplayed them. Overall, Drake May played very good. And the stuff that you see some faults in South Carolina's defense, especially in the third quarter, when it seemed like North Carolina just took off mainly. But also, I talk about key stops. You also have key scoring drives. And South Carolina in the fourth quarter had chances to go into score, and they just either had a penalty, a bad play, and it just took them out of the range, to actually get points. And you can't do that, because North Carolina actually took advantage of that. And at one point, North Carolina was up 31-14. So North Carolina got key stops when South Carolina needed some key plays. Couldn't get those plays to work. And shout out to North Carolina. That was pretty impressive. I was wrong about that. I predicted the score being 31-27, South Carolina winning. It was 31-17, North Carolina winning. Shout out North Carolina. They should be in the top 20 after that. Beating a good team like South Carolina, that's a very good thing to see. Spencer Rattler did not play his best game, but South Carolina not play the best game in general. But also, you can say that about almost any team that loses. They didn't play their best game. it's because the team that they're facing made them play a bad game or a worse game they were expecting. So yeah, shout out to Drake May. He's one of my Heisman predictions. So yeah. Also, two humongous upsets happened. I mean, I've already talked about some upsets there of Colorado, TCU. That some people had a thought that they might actually win. So shout out to those people who won, like Pat McAfee. He had Colorado winning. But the other games, there were two other games that were just shocking that team they lost. Wyoming beating Texas Tech. How did that happen? Texas Tech, I had you in my top 25. And a lot of people did too. A lot of people complained about you not being in the top 25. And then you go out and lose to Wyoming. What is wrong with y'all? And then, arguably the biggest upset in them all, Texas State beating Baylor. Baylor was a 27.5 point favorite. And you lost. It was incredibly pathetic by Baylor. And you got some upsets. Already starting off this year and they got some wild upsets. So shout out to those. Shout out to Texas State. Shout out to Wyoming for those wins. But that's just super disappointing for those fans, because those teams, because that might mean your season could be over depending on it. But you have conference play. That was a chair. You have conference play and stuff. So yeah, that could definitely save y'all. But if you can't beat Texas State or Wyoming, you're gonna have a lot of problems with the Big 12. But let's go through some other games that I've watched definitely in a lot more detail than maybe I should have. But I did. Tennessee versus Virginia. I'm a Tennessee fan, so this is probably why I'm going to go into more detail about this than anything else, because I was watching this game, and I was watching this one and flipping back and forth between this one and the Colorado and TCU one. Colorado and TCU is by far the better game, but since I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm going to watch this one too. Watch out for this Tennessee team. And I'm trying not to be biased when I say this type of stuff. Joe Milton had a little bit of a slow start. And their offense had a little bit of a slow start mainly. Some mistakes. Ramel Keaton dropped a wide open pass. That was perfectly thrown 60-yard ball by Milton. And then Milton had a bad drive. He missed 3 throws straight. Some of them were questionable. Some of them were like, oh, what are you doing here, Milton? And it's like, how do you miss that type of throw? And then after that, I don't think he had a bad drive. I don't think he had an okay drive. He was good for the rest of the game to arguably great. And it's just a matter of, can Milton just get that deep ball to start off his game to work? Because right whenever he got that deep ball again to Ramel Keaton following that, that actually worked. He threw a perfect pass to Bru McCoy that was barely not a touchdown. But after that pass to Ramel Keaton that actually was completed, I'm pretty sure in the second quarter, this offense was just flowing perfectly because the defense had to respect that too, and Milton was on his game after that. And if Milton can do that consistently, it'll be great. Also, his physicality was showing him to be stiff-armed that man in the goal line. This might be a fun season. Hopefully he stays healthy because he's a good runner too. Not great, but a good runner for the moment. And one thing I had to realize about this Tennessee team, that 2 things I'll say. One, the run game was looking very good of Jalen Wright and Jabari Small and Sampson. Dylan Sampson, I'm pretty sure that's his name. They look great. They looked great. It was fun to see that. Fun to watch all that stuff. But the main thing I took away from this game is that this defensive line looks very quick, looks very fast, looks very good. They could not guard. That right tackle for Virginia was in a very bad position yesterday because they put a dude on the edge, bridge number 27. He couldn't block him. He would make a little stutter step and then he could blow right by him. Amari Thomas played a great game. Hopefully he is perfectly healthy. Also, Squirrel White might have got hurt. Hopefully he's okay too. So all these players just played great games for them. And defensively they played great. They had some mistakes, but a 49-13 win, showing off everything you'd wanted. And I don't think Hype will use his full offensive ideas in this game. Look, I kind of play conservative at one point, which is a good thing. I don't think you want them to show off all your abilities and all of your plays in a game against Virginia. So, looks good. Alabama, Jalen Milroe looked very good against Middle Tennessee, but it's Middle Tennessee too. But Milroe had some nice plays. He had the play that was a low snap. Then he ran around. He got a touchdown of it. So that was a good play by him. Milroe threw a deep ball too. So if I was a Bama fan, I'd look very happy about his performance. Georgia struggled a tad bit against UT Martin in the first half, then they just exploded in the second half like they always do. Easy win for them. Ohio State did not play good. He scored 10 points in the first half against Indiana. The score is 23 to 3 against Indiana. That is terrible. That's a big thing. They have to figure that out. And then Michigan won 30 to 3 against East Carolina. They put in their bench like in the second half, so that's why the score is that low. Penn State beat West Virginia. Not a big surprise at all. Washington beat Boise State. Washington looked phenomenal when it comes to Michael Penix putting up 56 points against Boise State. Michael Penix looked very good. And some other notable games outside the Oregon dropping 81 on Portland State. Why did you do that to your own fellow Stadian of Portland State? Why? What did he do? What did they do to deserve that? Wisconsin won 38-17. They did not look great. No, they did not. I don't think this team's that good. I don't think it should be in the top 25. What, in the top 20? Top 20? Didn't look that impressive in my opinion, especially against a team like Buffalo. But that's my opinion. It's my opinion. We'll see how that's tested against Washington State next week. And then probably the last notable game that I will mention is that Iowa scored over 20. Shout out to Iowa, because Cade McNamara did not look half bad. But on a little serious note, outside of this stuff, Connor Wingman, pretty good. But pretty good against New Mexico. Dropped 52. Ole Miss dropped 73. I was not watching that one. Oklahoma dropped 73 also against Butch Jones' Arkansas State team. And the last one I'm going to mention is USC dropped 66 on Nevada. Yeah, that's not a surprise. So a couple of these games are interesting and stuff, but leave down in the comments anything you want to say about this week. I'm excited for this tonight's games. I'll be covering that game probably single-handedly. Just that single video about that stuff. Hope everything turns out well. Hope everyone stays safe in that game, all that stuff. Hope you guys stay safe too. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of stuff. Hit the comments. You can hit a comment, but you can like the video, hit the like button, comment whatever you want. Hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe, y'all, and God bless y'all.